All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Creative Appetite. I am here with my good friend Alvy Willa. It is Willa, right?
Yes, that's Willa.
Yes, nailed it.
Good work.
Yeah.
Starting good.
Starting off strong. No, I'm very excited to be speaking to you today. This is for the amount of time that we've been friends, which is very short. I feel like this has been building up for quite a long time.
I know, right?
It's like
I've been dreaming of you.
I've been thinking of It's been good. We also sat outside for about 3 hours.
I feel like we've done 3 podcasts just today.
In the 3 hours.
I didn't even want to drive up with you because I didn't want to talk about anything else before the podcast. And we ended up hanging out for 3 hours at KFC.
I know. Shout out to Dan for letting us use the space again, but he unfortunately couldn't get here till a little bit later. So we had 3 hours of talking, but trying not to ask important questions about each other, so we could just avoid the awkward moment now that we're sitting here.
It was all surface level.
It's very surface. So how was your lunch today? It was very surface level, pretty much like that. But we did come up with a couple of good creative ideas, I feel.
Yes.
Do you not like the...
I don't know. I don't know if I like them or not.
No,
because you hear your own voice.
Yeah, you'll get used to it though. Because
all right.
Otherwise, you'll just be.
Otherwise, I'll be like, oh yes, that was awesome. Eh?
Yeah, you just got to embrace it.
All right. It's one of those things, hearing your own voice, it freaks you out.
Yeah.
Like, I sound really high-pitched.
That's what I think.
I thought I had like a real masculine, manly voice until now.
You do have a deep voice though.
Oh, really?
Well, it's deeper than mine. I feel like mine just has like, if you were to look on a graph at how my voice goes, like on a wavelength, wavelength? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a word. It like would.
That's a word. Wavelength is definitely a word, I'm pretty sure.
But you know when you're making music, there's that, is it waveform? Wavelength? This happens every time. I always like.
I think it's both. Format.
But like I feel like the pitch, like I'd be the high pitch and it'd just be like just redlining every time.
So like I'd EQ all your highs out.
Yeah, you just put the compressor on and just cut the whole lot
Cut
off.
it out so you just sound like this.
The podcast voice.
Welcome
back.
A lot of eye contact when you do a podcast.
Yeah, you have to.
It's like it's intense.
Are you uncomfortable with eye contact?
A little bit. Every now and then I'll look away just to keep it normal.
Look at the camera.
Yeah. What's up?
What's up? So good. See, because when Dan and I did it, he's obviously done a couple of these, so he just looks directly in my eyes.
Yeah, it's actually beautiful.
It creates this connection.
I know, it's great.
I actually think it allows you to the flow starts to become a lot better.
Yeah,
because you are looking at each other.
You feel locked in, hey?
Yeah, you're just sucked into this little warp because that's how Dan and I nearly 2 hours, and I think it honestly would have went to 3 if Dan didn't have to run away, which is fair because I'd probably run away from me too.
Yeah, I'm already thinking about it. I'm actually 7:30. Oh,
gotta go.
I gotta get a haircut. I'm out.
All right. So there's a segment that I like to do at every start of the podcast. I think you know what's coming.
Oh no, I don't want that question. I hope you're ready for this.
Oh, if it gets bounced back at me, I'm gonna have to be ready.
Okay.
So what are 5 fun facts that people don't know about you?
Oh my goodness. How about I ask you one, you answer, and then I answer, and we'll go 1 each.
But you have to go first because you're the guest.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
All right. One fun fact. I'm afraid of flying.
Really?
Yes. It's intense. I have to get really high on Valium to get on the plane.
That sounds like who is it? Oh, Travis Barker didn't fly for about.
Well, he had a plane crash.
Yeah, but then he never flew. So when he's doing like world tours, he was getting boats
After his crash?
Yeah, after his crash to get around everywhere.
Yeah, that's insane.
Which I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on this if you're like a mad music fan, but I'm pretty sure he didn't come to Australia a lot of the times because it was too long for him to get down here.
Yeah, I've been on heaps of planes now.
Yeah,
I think my first flight was 22. But before it, the idea of traveling was so incredible for me. But the fact that I was so scared of flying was like this thing I'd never do. So I thought of all these different ways I could go around the world, by boat or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So by the time I actually did fly, it was like the most surreal, incredible experience. Where for everyone else, it's just a normal thing.
Everyone else is sitting there reading the newspaper.
Exactly. People are like asleep in that, and like I got to the airport and I'm like, I can't do this. I'm not doing it. My girlfriend at the time's like, just have some Valium, just chill out. And I had the Valium, and then I'm sitting down, I'm looking at the plane. I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. And then
are you allowed to take Valium?
yeah,
on a
no,
plane?
100%.
Is it
You get it prescribed by the doctor and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And then we take off, and then she's like, look out the window. I'm like, oh my goodness, that is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And then I'm getting photos with the air hostesses, and I'm just like living it up. I'm just like, this is so good.
Slab squatting.
Yeah, so pretty much was, hey. It was just a little flight to Melbourne, and I was just like on cloud 9, hey.
Oh, I didn't even ask the desk. So you literally just from here to Melbourne?
Yeah. Yeah, it was like it was just so good, and I just felt like I'd achieved something massive, where for everyone else it's a little thing, you know, but for 22 years I'd built this thing up, like.
Because you've been overseas now.
Yeah, so I've been on a plane like heaps of times now.
Are you now like a Valium addict?
Well, there was a time where I had to be careful because I was like flying a fair bit, and it's pretty addictive.
I've never had it, and I've suffered from anxiety and been anxious and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the whole time, my whole life, I've just raw dogged life. I didn't even know about like like I knew about antidepressants, but I always thought they were for people that actually had depression. I didn't realize there's also other substitutes for people that suffer with anxiety.
Yeah, right.
And stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it though. Like you just naturally just learn ways to cope.
I just force myself to be like resilient.
Yeah.
So which is probably a good and a bad thing, but now I'm always in my head analyzing myself. So if I'm feeling a certain way, I'm like, this must be this, or it was brought on because of this. And
sometimes it can be something like that, or it's just really simple, like you've had too much coffee and you're just overthinking stuff, and it's nothing.
That's my life.
Give it a couple of hours and you're all good again.
I get a friend of mine at work. He has this. It's kind of like a pre-workout. It's called G Fuel.
Oh yeah, and it's always like X shredded or like G Fuel or like
but this one's for gamers apparently. So it doesn't have like a bunch of other chemicals in it that people use for training. So it's only got.
That's wild. So their fingers are just wired, just like
it's just like a real focused kind of drink. But
like Ritalin.
I take it at work, and then I have these really high intense bursts of caffeine. So this is why when I message you, I'm just like, man, I got all these ideas, and I just get them out and run around and like just going.
And I'm just like in full chill mode. I'm like, whoa.
You're trying to edit. You're like, this guy's just on.
This guy's fucked up.
I messaged some of my other friends as well, and I'm like, they must be sitting there, just thinking, Jesse, you need to just take a deep breath, champ. And we'll
Do you ever tell yourself that though? Like okay, right now I'm frothing too much. Just wait, and then if I'm still keen in a couple of hours, send this off.
No, because especially when it comes to creative ideas, I find that because I'm a very efficient person, I don't like to wait, or if I have an idea, I need to get it out straight away so I can get all the information quick as possible.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is a good and a bad thing.
Yeah.
But even like growing up, my whole life I was very. There used to be a time I didn't have a car. Like I wasn't in the traditional sense where everyone's like, turn 16, get your L's, turn whatever it is, got your P's. I didn't get my P's until I was 20. I think I was 20.
Wow.
Or 19. I was very young.
That's not too bad.
I was in that weird age before I was like, you're about to become an adult. You need to get yourself around. Because a lot of the time I used to just walk around or get people to give me lifts. So I became very efficient, very fast. Guys. Yeah, I was like, well,
were you in Sydney?
No, I lived out in the country. And a lot of my friends lived in Canberra at the time. Yeah. So I became very good at organising lifts and organising my way home to and from like certain places very fast. Yeah. And I feel like it's stuck with me now. And this is why I'm very like, every single thing has to be regimented when it comes to any idea, any opportunity. And even in stressful situations when other people would freak out, like, I don't know what to do, I always know what to do. Like, I'm very quick on my feet. I'm like, right, I can do this and do that.
You're like used to the uncertainty a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people call it running. So like when there's like a bit of trauma or like a bit of drama or whatever, I instead of I guess you would call it a bit of running, but like instead of sitting there and going, all right, this sucks and I can't get out of it, I'm like, I know how to get out of this. I know where to go. I can do this. I can do that. And I come up with like 10 different options like real fast.
But even if you don't figure something out, you probably still feel relaxed too.
Because I know that it's in the background. I'm like, all right, well, that's there.
I feel like that's the mindset behind why people are doing these ice baths and stuff a lot lately is like putting themselves in these uncomfortable situations because they don't have that anywhere else in their life. Yeah. So they're creating some discomfort so they can handle stress better.
Yeah, definitely. I've found that because I've been to a few of them now and it's really weird. I don't really resonate in that aspect of the struggle, I guess, or what people like building these foundations because I think I already have these foundations. So it becomes quite awkward for myself when I'm there because I know that my mental strength is strong enough to be able to do these tough situations.
Yeah, yeah.
So then I can't relate to the people that are coming out having these really big, profound moments of.
We have to go into that now.
We will in a second, but like I just can't resonate with people that are doing it for that reason, I guess, because I'm already all over it.
Yep.
Not to toot my own horn, but yeah. But then when we did that breathwork thing, that was an unknown, like an unknown to me.
Yeah.
So that's why I found it very overwhelming. I was like, oh, I've never. It was like the uncertainty of kind of not being in control.
Yeah, right.
Which is, I guess, is the other, which is kind of the double it, like the opposite of the ice bath, because the ice bath is being in control and controlling your breath, controlling your mind, blah blah blah. Where doing breath work for me was.
We should give the listeners some context.
We shall.
So, I was hired to film this day retreat. Yeah, and you didn't even know what was planned on this retreat.
No, I didn't even. All I knew was what to bring.
Yeah,
that was it.
Was like a towel.
Yeah, and I didn't even.
And good vibes.
Oh, a towel and a blanket. I forgot the blanket.
Yeah,
and the yoga mat. Yeah. I only had the towel.
And at the beginning of that breath work, I noticed that you were the only person out of the room that sort of asked. You're like, "Oh, I'm a bit unsure about this." Hey.
Yeah, and then they were, which was quite weird because one lady was like, "I thought you seem so rock solid, like you would be up for this."
Yeah.
Which kind of threw me off.
Which is kind of cool because it was really cool that you didn't know what was going to happen throughout the whole day and you were so open to it.
Yeah.
And then even that you got into that uncomfortable situation, you still went for it.
Yeah, I like to give everything a go. I think definitely my personality, like not being in control is very hard for me.
Yeah, same, big time.
Because I'm so regimented, which kind of sounds a bit weird, but like I'm so open and so giving, and I'll do anything and I'll give anything a go. But then I have to know I have to be in control of that, if that makes sense. So
yes.
I'm trying to think of an example.
I said the same thing when I was talking to Chris about the breath work. The thing that would worry me is that letting go, because it's really like you feel yourself wanting to hold on and not, because you see people like pass out and do all weird stuff, and I'm like, because I've done like a tiny bit of it, and I could feel like some weird sensations. Like, all right, that's enough for me. I'm going to pull back. Yeah. Where people there were just pushing through it.
Yeah, there was one guy that was really going hard, where I kind of coasted for a bit, and then it was like the last 10 minutes I really pushed, and then had this really intense experience, to the point where there was one point where Chris touched my shoulder, and I was in such a state of whatever it is that I actually, like, his hand stayed on my shoulder, like the feeling was still there. I could still feel it, but
he wasn't there.
No, and then I put my arm up to grab his arm, and he wasn't there, and then I kind of like come to and open my eyes, and I was like, oh, it was
That's so weird.
It was so profound. It was that is the most intense experience I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah, and I've done a lot of different stuff. Can you explain
like what it was exactly that was that profound moment? Like, did you take anything out of it?
I think I didn't get anything in the spiritual sense where I think a lot of other people did. I think what I found was that I was still in control, because at the end of the day, it's still your body, still your breath. So I found that even though it was so intense, I had the I kind of had like the ability to control my breathing and get back to where I needed to be, instead of like losing control. So I guess the thing that I took away from it was that you could actually still be in control. You're never out of control.
Yeah.
Only if you want to be, I guess. But even then, you're still in control.
Do you think it was like, because the word you used straight after was profound, was what the thing that was profound, was it the feeling that you got out of it? Just, it doesn't have to mean anything, but was there a feeling that you felt that was like just amazing?
Yeah, it was just this feeling that I've never felt before. I was like, that it was so, like, I was seeing things, and I was like,
yeah, wow.
Oh, wow, this is like, it was like a DMT trip, but
just from breathing in and out as hard as you can for an hour.
Yeah, it literally, there was like one point where I was like, I saw like this golden goddess, and then all these like faces started coming through, and I was like, whoa, like it was just It was so profound. Like, I couldn't even explain it. I guess other people have done it and they understand what I'm talking about, but I couldn't explain it to someone because I'm like, it's so, like, even I was like, man, I don't even know what that was.
Yeah, wow.
Because I didn't even see it coming, which is probably like the whole message of the day. Because I hadn't, not the message, but like I didn't know anything about the day anyway.
It kind of was. At the beginning, he was talking about it's a day to let go. And it seemed like there's a lot of situations where you were supposed to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, because for me, the whole day, I was just on the outside watching.
Yeah.
So I wasn't uncomfortable at all. And I could see it clearly, like, what was going on. Even at the beginning, how you had to, like, meet all these different people and explain what you want out of the day and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I felt like, for me, I was like, oh, that feels uncomfortable to do that.
Yeah, I've never, see, that's what I mean. That the whole day for me wasn't uncomfortable because I've done a lot of this stuff before.
Yeah.
And I'm very comfortable within myself to openly stand up and talk to people and say all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
That's why I found that part so interesting because I was like, oh, it was an uncomfortable situation for me because I was so uncertain of what was going to be. So like out of all of the day, that was the only moment where I was like, man, that was crazy.
Yeah. That's a really cool quality that you did it, man. He's back.
We're back.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool quality that you put yourself in there without knowing, because I'm the sort of person that would want to know everything that's going on. When's the lunch breaks? What are we eating? How long is it going for? Do you know what I mean? Like I overthink a lot and analyze everything so much. But I'm trying not to.
I'm trying to do the same. I'm trying to be a bit more. He's urchin. I'm gonna
hang on, I've got to try and
butcher
remember
this.
what the urchin is, eh? I really like that, those little analogies.
So there's a dolphin.
I felt like when I was listening to that, it's a bit of a shark and a dolphin, but I can't remember what urchin was.
Oh,
So urchins very analytical.
Urchin's
come-
very... Come
wait
on the
up,
podcast.
we're just gonna get Dan in on a second.
So urchins very analytical. So they care about processes. They're very detail orientated.
Yep.
Sometimes a bit slower moving, but not always. But you always have characteristics of others. Sharks don't give a fuck. Can we swear?
Yeah.
Sharks don't
We've
give a
been
fuck.
swearing.
Sharks don't give a fuck how you get there. They just care about the result,
Mm.
and they just go like they just want it. They want it now, and they don't like care like what they got to do to get there.
Yep.
Whales are very like laid back, chilled out, just relax, go with the flow. And then dolphins like this guy, just center of attention. Everything's fun, just loves it. Everything.
I wonder if there's a part of us that can wear all those hats, though.
There is. So each person has tendencies of everything.
Yeah. Because I know in a creative place, I'm very much a shark.
Yeah. So
I don't think at all. I'm just like, go.
it depends what you're doing. So you'll have primary and then secondary, but you'll also have tendencies of all of them depending what you're doing.
Yeah. So day to day, I'm really like, I overthink everything.
So you're primary urchin, secondary shark.
Yeah.
And you switch over to that
As soon
secondary
as it
when
turns
you
into a
pick camera
creative,
up or whatever you're doing.
It's like, you don't even know I don't even know what the time is, just straight into it. Yeah, 100%. Thanks for that.
See?
How
Thanks,
good
Dan.
is that? Full of knowledge, that
should
guy.
we open up these beers?
Yes, we've been wanting to do
Alright.
a little taste test of 10 Toes versus
So on the podcast, we're trying to promote local brands
On the Sunshine Coast.
On the Sunshine Coast, if you're not listening from the Sunshine Coast. And today we are going to be promoting 10 Toes Brewery, which is a local brewery, obviously. And this one is called Pipeline Pale Ale. It has pretty cool graphics. Obviously, if you're watching, you're going to see this.
Tropical Session Ale, best pale ale in existence, as judged by some dudes.
It's a big statement.
Yes. Some
All right,
dudes.
shall we?
Yes. How's that sound,
That's
eh?
the best sound. All right, let's get on to your second.
No, we got to get your first.
God damn it. I nearly got out of that. Yeah, that was good. All right.
It just kind of tastes like beer, eh? Like, I'm not really good
Fruity
at
beer.
Mm.
It's a very good pale ale though, because I've had a lot of pale ales, and that one would be one of the better ones for sure.
Yeah, I really like it.
So
What's a fun fact about you?
a fun fact about me?
It's a really hard question.
It is a very hard question. I travelled Australia in 2019 in a van
Nice.
with my ex-girlfriend.
Yep.
And it was one of the most fun yet intense experiences of my life
Yes.
in many different ways.
I feel like when you travel, there's a lot of big highs, but there's also really big lows. Where
Yeah.
when you're not traveling, you're just doing your day to day. It can be a little more like down the middle.
Yeah.
But traveling, you know, you're lost, you're hungry, you're stuck in the same little space, but at the same time, you're seeing incredible places and doing incredible things.
Yeah.
Did you find that a bit?
It wasn't the intense part for me wasn't necessarily the small space, because I was lucky enough that the person that I was dating at the time was super lovely. We got along very well. Like we'd lived together for quite a long time, and even in a small space, we never got sick of each other.
Mm-hmm.
We understood how to give each other space and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there was the actual intense part was what was going on inside my head, which was pretty full on.
Okay. Do you want to share that?
Oh, we're here now. Why
Yeah.
not? No, I don't, because I don't want to turn this into a dark
Yes.
podcast.
Cool.
There was just some things going on.
Yeah.
So I was like, but it will come out eventually.
Yep.
All right, second one.
I didn't really start drinking until I was maybe 25.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What was your first beer?
And
was
I
it a beer?
remember, I think I turned 18 and me and my best mate down south, we went to like a surf club or something like that and had no idea what to order, and we got some pink raspberry sort of girly drink.
The vodka raspberries.
Yes, those things, and thought that was like, yeah, here we go.
They're so good.
Yeah, and
Except too many.
and I had one of them, and that was enough to make me feel like the effects,
Yeah.
you know, full rookie. And tried driving and forgot to put the handbrake on and nearly sent the car over the little cliff over the beach off one vodka.
Drink driving, guys. Don't do it.
It's only one drink. It was illegal.
The first time I got drunk, I did 6 shots of vodka, one after the other.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm so good. I don't understand what all this fuss is about.
Mm.
About an hour into it, I was like, I'm paralytic. I can't move.
Yeah.
I need help.
See, that's like, because I overthink everything, I'm just like, I'll have one and then that's it. I'm stopping. Like, I don't want to go
Yeah.
too far. Like, I want to experience this like slowly and feel it out.
Yeah.
And people would like every now and then hand me a beer and I'd pretend to drink it and tip it out. Like, I just wasn't interested in it. Hey.
That is
Yeah.
you're pretty much pouring out holy water at that point.
Yeah. Looking back on it now, yes.
Have you repented?
I drink. I still don't drink a lot. The only time I drink mostly is if I'm playing a show. I like to enjoy that night because there's so much work that goes into a show.
We're definitely going to touch on that,
Mm-hmm.
but we need to get through this.
All these questions.
We're 23
Dude.
minutes in and we're still trying to get.
Oh my
All right.
goodness,
This is why I don't know why we need to. We'll ask you them. So, what's your third one?
it's really hard. I grew up in Mount Druitt till I was 10, which is totally different sort of place to where I live now.
Shout out 1-4.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I don't know. Mate, they're hard.
Do you want? Okay, I'll give you an example.
Mm.
So, this is Daniel and I were talking about this when he came on because we don't reckon anyone's going to be able to top what he said. So he said he doesn't like sushi.
Yep.
He eats his knife and fork in the opposite hand.
Yeah, I remember that. He nailed it. It's like he had it prepared.
He doesn't drink. He doesn't do drugs.
Yeah.
And his last one, he can
Yeah.
ride a bike backwards.
I don't do drugs either. That's again my whole overthinking thing.
Yep.
I like to be in control.
Yep.
Valium is the only drug I've really done,
And Panadol.
which is legal anyway, and I only did it to go flying really. Little push bike skill. I haven't got any of those. Yeah, I think I've answered 5. That was 5. I've like manifested these questions to not be able to answer them. I've been thinking about them. I was like, this bastard's going to ask me these. But then I get so distracted with other stuff, I don't even think of the answers. And now I'm here trying to think of these questions.
Trying to get it. Like, oh, God damn it.
Can you go? You tell me one, and then I might get an idea of what's a random thing about you, because the people need to know you.
All right. So I said I travelled Australia. That was my first one, wasn't it? Second one is.
Oh, okay. I got one for you.
Oh, here we go.
When I was 23, I did a month in Hawaii on a permaculture farm,
Boy,
which was
here we
really
go.
cool. It was like you sign up to, I think it's called Workaway or Woofing, one of those sort of sites. And you go on this farm, and basically I lived in this little, what did they call it? There's a certain word for it, but it's like a little cabin thing that's just been made out of everything on the land,
Like
on the farm.
An earth house.
Pretty much, yeah. Just this little.
No, what are they called? Not earth house. They're called Earth. Oh, Earth Lab. Earth.
I know what you're
know what I'm
talking
talking
about.
about,
Yeah, yeah. So the idea was you'd get up and you'd do only maybe 4 or 5 hours worth of work, which would be like moving the cows around or fencing or whatever needed to be done on the property. And then for the rest of the day, you'd just go hitchhiking because it's just one big road around this island I lived on.
Yep.
And you just go hitchhike and meet random people. Sometimes you'd be a bit unsure about them, but usually you'd meet really cool people, really open-minded people, and just go see the island. I thought it was a great way to get like straight into the culture. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
That was good. Yeah.
Alright.
See,
yeah.
See, it starts to happen once
Yeah.
you're like, you just
I've got
gotta
another one for you.
lean into it.
No.
Here's a couple more
Yeah.
while I'm at it.
2 hours later, and I also,
And we haven't.
I
covered
also shaved a
anything.
cat once.
Oh man,
I didn't.
I don't think I need. Do you want me to? I'll finish them off because I can't. You can't start. And
I
not
think I've done
finish.
5 anyway.
I'll finish my ones off.
Okay.
So I travelled Australia in 2019.
Yep.
I was in the Navy for 6 years.
Yeah, that's cool.
I was born
6 years.
Yeah,
I want to get into that later too.
I was born in New Zealand.
Wow.
What about 4? What's another one? Ooh, now I'm stuck.
It's not easy, eh?
Hey?
Huh? Huh? Have a bit of pressure on you.
No, I got this. I used to do acting in and out of school. I've done a couple of short films.
Really?
Yep. And my last one would be what's something. Okay, this isn't a fun fact, but this is something I'm very proud of.
Okay.
I started this podcast.
Yes. I like it.
Yeah, I didn't. Fun facts are hard, but I'm going to keep putting it on every other guest.
They're really hard because there's no like. You
I
gotta
feel like you
search.
thought about it for too long though, because you knew it was coming up.
Maybe. I'm also like, I don't know, maybe a bit dumb.
You know, you're not dumb. You're doing amazing things,
Thank you.
which we're going to touch into right now. Great segue, Jesse. Excellent stuff, mate.
Good job.
Yeah, good job. So let's start with your first ever creative project that isn't what you're doing right now, that has led you to where you are now.
Okay. My first ever creative project. I feel like it all started really was when I was about 15 and I started getting into music. Yeah. It wasn't like it wasn't a project. It was a passion. It was just a love. There was no end in sight.
Yep.
So, just playing one chord on the guitar was enough for me, and I'd get goosebumps, and I was like, "This is incredible."
Smoke on the water.
Pretty much.
The first
It
riff.
didn't matter what it was. It was just a lot of people now when they learn an instrument, they think about the end result, and they're like, "I can't wait to be shredding and be so good like this."
Yeah.
And they won't enjoy it, the process, until they get there.
Yeah.
Where me, I absolutely loved it right at the beginning. And I think that's what's special and makes you have success is because you enjoy it the whole way. So, that was probably the beginning of when I felt like creativity was taking over every day.
Because now you do film. It's a
Videography?
video. Oh man, why am I keep saying filmography? I'm thinking like photography, film.
It might be a word. I don't know.
No, could be.
Yeah.
So now you do videography.
Yeah. Which is like I've sort of always chipped away at it. It's only this year that's become like a really big, like, everyday thing,
Your full-time job.
full-time job.
And where did you start doing?
Well,
Videography.
a long time ago, even on like crappy little phones 10 years ago, whenever it was, when cameras first came out, I'd start doing little edits on them.
We should definitely talk about this because I feel like this is a good topic because I find that people, when they start something, they go out and buy really expensive equipment
Yeah.
and then they get caught up in buying the equipment rather than
Yep.
focusing on
You can
the
tell people
story.
Yeah. You can tell people care way too much about that sort of stuff and not the process.
Yeah.
Not trusting the process and just doing it for what it is. Vision is always going to be more important than the quality of your guitar or your camera or whatever it is you're doing. Creativity and content is always king.
What is something that you find, like, I don't like to say where do you draw inspiration from because I find that it's such a cliche saying. So when you are coming up with a concept, do you draw upon an emotion or do you draw upon an energy, or is it actually just your creativity and has nothing to do with emotions or energy? It's just straight up.
Yeah, I feel like it comes from so many different angles.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes it's so like music and videos and stuff. The creative process is very different. So I feel like I'm much more a musician than I'm a videographer. My music is what I've spent so much time growing and doing, and music's really like my mind doesn't get in the way. It's a real like kind of flow state, and these ideas, like it feels like the music. It sounds really silly, but the ideas and the creativity just comes through you, and you're an instrument as well. Where with video, I feel like it's much more like a logical kind of thing, and you're thinking about it, and you've got to be way more like it's a formula. If that makes sense. But the energy to create comes from maybe it could be seeing what other people are doing. It could be hearing a song that's really amazing and moves you, and whether you want to make a video to that sort of energy or a song to that. Lately too, like I've got to experience playing my music to lots of people, and that's really inspiring. So that having the power to do that, it makes me want to keep doing it. And so I can create a song that lots of people can listen to and hear and be inspired by as well.
Do you feel like now that we're in the age of the internet and social media, and there's so much readily available content, do you think that it has helped you become more confident in your own direction? So, for example, I feel confident in this podcast because I've watched so many podcasts, good and bad, and it's allowed me to realize that anyone can start, and if you just trust due process, you too could potentially do well. So did you find that through like how good social media and technology is now, that's also giving you a direction? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I'll probably say no, just because I feel like, say with music, there's no path. There's no like, if you do this, then this will happen. It's not like you go to university and do all this and then you get a job. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, with video maybe, but can you ask that question again?
So basically, what I'm trying to say is that do you want a cookie?
No, I'm all right, thank you.
Because so when I was growing up, all I ever used to see was what was on like Channel V, Rage, and it was just successful people at the top straight away.
Okay, so you're seeing like behind the scenes kind of thing.
What I'm trying to say is because there's so much readily available content on social media, YouTube, on how to do this, how to do that. Yeah. This is what I'm doing, blah, 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 vlogs, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, because there's a bit of like pride that's like, well, if they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've always been a bit naive and always felt like I could do anything I wanted to.
Yeah. I got to stop saying yep. It's a terrible word. Sorry.
I like it. Don't be so harsh on yourself.
I got grilled for it. My friend, he's like, you say that so much.
I didn't even notice.
And now everyone's going to notice it.
Yeah, yep. You
say that quite a lot, Jesse.
Yep. It's like when you say the word like.
I know, that's also.
That's hard.
And we don't say the M word, which I think I've already said it.
Maybe?
Motivation. We say drive because motivation is temporary. Drive is imminent. Imminent? No, it's forever. That's one.
And discipline.
You definitely need discipline.
Yeah. I feel like motivation is a real thing though. It comes, and when you have it, it's a bit extra fuel, but not to rely on it.
Yeah, I think you need to understand that it's there, and then you utilize that energy and really. Well, this is what I do. I analyze it. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling very inspired, but I know it's only going to be temporary. So I try to use it and build it into something.
Yes.
Build it into healthy habits is what I try to do.
Yeah, I feel like there's ups and downs in energy, and when you got your up, just utilize it and smash out as much as you can. Yeah. And then you'll have like periods where you're a little more relaxed, and I don't know. Do you feel the same?
Yeah, I definitely feel the same. So I'm at the moment in my current life situation, I'm trying to build healthy habits around this podcast, maintaining drive, setting myself goals, hitting my targets, staying disciplined and not being distracted by outside noise, which I find for me personally is one of my biggest letdowns, is being distracted by something that sounds fun, but it's only going to be, it's like motivation, it's only fun for a temporary time, where this could be fun forever, as long as I stay disciplined.
It's about doing things for your future self.
Yeah, exactly.
Not for yourself now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I feel like I'm always doing that, which can be, it stops you from enjoying now as well.
it's a very like it's a big double-edged sword, and it takes. This is where I don't understand like how to change it. It's like how to differentiate the two and find balance with them.
Yeah.
Because I'm all about balance, trying to not. Because I find if you go too far one way, you end up like needing the stuff that you just pushed away.
Yeah.
So whereas if you have it all in like small pockets, then you live a much more fulfilling life.
Yes. It's just about being honest with yourself too, I think, and knowing when you're going too far one way. Like for me, I probably got to open up more to opportunities and saying yes more. Where it sounds like you probably say yes too much.
Yeah, I say yes a lot.
Yeah.
To the point where it's ridiculous. Now it's getting to the point where I need to learn how to say no, because I'm saying yes so much that I'm losing time and not focusing on this when I should be focusing on this.
I'm just realizing, like, even just now how much of a creature of habit I am, that like I'm thinking, like tomorrow morning I want to get up, I want to go to the gym, I want to get a coffee, I want to have a nice breakfast, maybe go for a surf or something, and it's all controlled. It's all like my little space.
Regimented.
Yeah. But I know it works for me.
We got to find what works for you.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
What works for you might not work for someone else.
Exactly.
And it's all about that. Like for me at the moment, it's been regimented, learning how to say no.
Yep.
Learning who I am as a person, learning how to be stronger, learning how to be more disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
But then I know that if I focus now, in the future, I'm going to create good foundations, so then I can step back a bit and start enjoying more of the fun stuff.
When you start to regularly have those experiences where you're receiving like the fruits of your labor, it becomes more addictive as well, I think, and it becomes easier to have that discipline.
Yeah.
Because you've witnessed like, wow, okay, so all that work I did back then, now I'm having these amazing times. It's because 2 years ago I put in that hard work. And then once you see that it's working for you, I feel like it becomes easier.
I definitely feel I've started to see that now with this, and I've only been doing this podcast for maybe I've had the idea for about 12 months, but I've only really put in the effort for maybe about 2 months.
Isn't it weird that just all of a sudden, like, you don't control the next idea that's going to come into your mind, but 2 months ago something just happened and then you're like, I'm going to do that now.
Yeah.
Like who takes the credit? Like, you can't control what thoughts you're going to have next.
Well, this is so the reason why something clicked in my brain is because I went through a breakup, and the way it ended and some of the things that were said and how it happened I'm going to butcher this word, extrinsic motivation.
So it's like motivation from another source?
It was a motivation from another source.
Do you look at that in a negative way though?
I'm negatively motivated.
Because I feel like you can be grateful for that what that's happened and that's taught you and it's giving you this energy. Like, maybe look at it as like, it might be negatively motivating, whatever, but it's a gift.
It was
I'm gonna use it.
As in like I'm a negatively motivated person. It's nothing to do with it's nothing to do with the breakup. What it did, it was an extrinsic motivation, which I then turned into an intrinsic motivation because I took some of the things that happened from that and realized that I don't want to be in that situation anymore. And I then turned it into a positive because I was like, well, now this is a prime time for me to actually focus on myself and finally put myself first.
Yeah.
Because for a long time I'd been putting other people first.
Yep.
So now I'm like, you know what? I know that if I focus and put in the effort, potentially something good can really come out of this. So that's why I've just gone full noise.
So you've turned that negative into something.
Yeah, I've turned it into a positive.
Yeah.
It's not I just use like what I mean by negative.
It's like,
motivation.
yeah, I know, like someone saying, "Oh, you're shit, you'll never do that."
Yeah, that. It's like, yeah, well, righto. Well, now just watch me do it, and I love that.
It's fun. Hey,
It's the best.
Yeah.
If I was to say some of the things that I tell myself in my head on this podcast, people are like, "You're a psycho."
Like, do you negatively motivate yourself?
Yeah, all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I do that because that's telling me that, you know, you're shit, you can't do that.
Yeah,
well, it's like a conversation. Sometimes you do though. Hey, you're like,
my internal monologue just goes all the
yeah,
time.
yeah. It's like a full conversation, eh?
Yeah.
It's like, you're so crap, you cannot do that. And then the other part is you're like, yes, you can.
Yeah, I never have the yes you can
Oh.
because I know it's like.
So how do you get to the decision to saying, yes, I'm going to do this?
Well, this is what's weird. It's like I guess it would be. There's two conversations, obviously. So one is going, you can't do this, you can't do this.
Do you call yourself brother in your mind? You're like, hey brother, come on, listen here, man. Like,
No,
you're like, listen, like, all right, bro.
I'm literally just like, you're not gonna be able to do this, and you think you're gonna be able to do it, and then the other voice is like, right, champ, let's go. I'm like, you'll see. But it's not necessarily like me telling myself I can't do it. I actually make up stories about other people saying like imaginary people that I've never even seen before going, you're not going to be able to make this. You're just dreaming.
Yeah.
Or like when you tell someone something and they're like, yeah, righto. Like, you know that they don't believe what you're saying. So like that type, I'm like, oh, it's the best. I'm like, righto then. I'm like, then when I am where I am in the future, I'm like, well, you didn't believe in me. I believed in myself.
Yep.
And now look at me. And then, yes, I don't know, it's something.
People just don't, I don't know if they like to crush dreams or they just never were brave enough to dream for themselves. But whenever someone tells me something that they want to do, I genuinely believe them and don't even think that people would question it. Like our friend Chris, who runs the Travel Fit, he said, so it was something along the lines within a couple of years, it's going to be the biggest, I don't even know what you call what he does, but
it's like
self-development or something.
Wellness
Yeah,
retreats.
but he's like, it's going to be the biggest in the world. And there was no part of me that was like, you're crazy, man. Like, honestly, part of me, like every part of me was like, that is so awesome, man.
I remember he said that.
Yeah.
I was like, you go, son.
Yeah.
Get into it.
Like, I feel like anything is possible. The craziest stuff happens. I've experienced it myself. And if he's brave enough to say it, I feel like it's very possible to happen.
I definitely think it can happen. And that's what I'm trying to project in this podcast. Like anyone can do anything. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah. Whether
it's creative or not creative. You can just do whatever you want. Because 100%. At the end of the day, especially in today's society, anything is possible.
Yeah.
Because it's not only are you now connected to your friends, you're also connected to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And there's like 7 billion people here. Like imagine all the contacts.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's also crazy how much people do hold back when you talk to people, like how afraid they are to show anything that they've created. So like even like say they've drawn a picture, like I've had girlfriends that they've decided to do art for the day and they're so like, I don't want to show you. No, it's dumb. I'm not ever doing this ever again. It's stupid. It's like, well, first of all, you're not a professional artist. It's probably is going to be stupid. Who cares?
It's all about practice.
Yeah, exactly. But so people are so afraid to push themselves out of that comfort.
Yeah, I 100% agree. All right, now let's talk about your music. Because I feel like this is a good segue. So talking about practice, when did you first start? How old were you when you first started music?
I think I was like 14, turning 15.
Right.
Yeah.
And was it all instrumental?
Yes.
And
I tried singing early and I couldn't do it. I was just hopeless. I didn't have the skills, the natural ability.
Did you do singing lessons?
As I got older, I did.
Yeah.
So because I couldn't sing, but I felt like as a teenager I had so much like emotion that I wanted to share.
Yeah.
And the only way to get it through was through instruments. So I feel like my strength is building the instrumental.
We're going to start putting a yep counter now.
Yes.
This is for future reference. We're going to edit this in.
I like the yep. It's cool. It's
really?
You. It's you.
Man, so many mixed.
Because if you're not saying yep, you're probably not present, and you're thinking of.
I'm trying to become a more active listener.
You are.
I am an active listener anyway, but I find that I need to let people hold space when they're speaking.
No, it is good feedback to your friend. I think it's good feedback.
Shout out Jordan. Meanie. So we'll talk about your actual music project. So it's Alvy Willa is your music project.
Yes, it's one of my. That's my solo project.
Do you want to talk about that first?
I can just start from the start.
Yeah, because we're already on the start.
So
I thought that's where your project led into.
No, that's actually my solo project is a side project.
Never assume.
Yeah.
Never assume, guys.
I'm just going to tell the story.
Yeah, 100%.
So as a teenager, music was just everything. I was telling everybody around me, I'm going to grow up, I'm going to be a professional guitar player. I didn't know what that meant, but I was just so inspired. I was smart enough to know what I wanted to do, but dumb enough to think I could do it, which I feel like is that perfect balance.
That's me.
I am like naive enough to think that I can do that, and I'm also smart enough to figure out the way.
That is exactly me. Say all these crazy aspirations.
Which is stupid to say it.
Yeah.
But you've also got that part of you that's going to find a way to make it happen.
Just quickly not off topic, but my stupid idea, crazy aspiration, this podcast by the end of next year is going to be the biggest podcast on the Sunshine Coast. That is
What did I
my-
say when you said that? I was like, dude,
Yeah, you was like, you will be.
100%. You will.
You will be.
I can
I was-
feel you will be.
Yeah.
Maybe not this exact episode. This episode might get buried in the archives. Archive?
Archives.
I don't know how to talk.
Everyone so far, meaning one person, everyone has like word slip ups. And last week, Dan was talking about passion, and he was like 100%.
Cents. I remember that
100
bit.
cents. Yeah, it was like, instead of saying 100%, he was like 100 cents.
100%. I think he said 100%. Yeah, I remember that. That was good. I had a little chuckle. I was driving. I was like, I like it.
It was the best. I hope that every guest I have on also has these type of moments.
I'm looking forward to more coming out tonight.
Oh, I've probably said heaps right now.
And I'm just too dumb to even know that was a mistake.
Calling me out
I'm just
straight up.
like, that's a word.
Oh,
Write it
that's the
down.
best. All right, let's get back to where you're going.
But anyway, so as a teenager, I was a really anxious teenager. Didn't really fit in with many people. I was always on the outside, so music was this escape for me. And I just put so much time into it. And it's this like, you know, I guess people that age were starting to experiment with drugs and getting high and all that sort of stuff. And music was my high. That's where I felt that feeling that was kind of euphoric. And I just visualized it all the time. And I'm a big believer in manifestation. And I would lay there in my bed and I'd put music on and listen, and I'd just imagine myself playing these big festivals and meeting my idols and just traveling around Australia, whatever it is, playing music. And I just held on to that vision. And then, you know, so playing acoustic guitar, and then that led into, actually I moved to the Sunshine Coast at 19. This is a kind of a segue, but it's sort of relevant. And I picked up a hitchhiker, and she was 16. I was 18 or 19. She was 17 or something. So it was kind of, anyway, I ended up getting married to her.
Wait, I was just like adjusting the age. I'm like, kind of sounds creepy. And anyway, I got married. And,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful
No, I'm
love
trying to
story.
make it sound like it was only like, it was like a 2.5 year gap. So it wasn't weird. We were like teenagers anyway.
I'm
And
joking.
I'm not weird.
I'm not weird, man.
I've got to go.
Anyway, don't go.
Anyway, so pick up this hitchhiker, and we ended up kicking it off, and we ended up busking together. That becomes our way of income. So my music starts to develop more around that 19 years old. So we're busking up and down Australia, living in our van, doing all that kind of thing. And then we part ways, and I'm now by myself, and so I buy a loop pedal, and I start trying to think, how can I do this myself? So I'm trying to think of ways to create a big sort of sound by myself. So, you know, I start investing in synthesizers and computers and loop pedals and trying to, you know, do all that. And I had a friend named Ayla, shout out to Ayla, who was killing it on Triple J. And, you know, I'd always message her when she'd have a song come out, and I'd be like, hey, like, that song's awesome, congratulations. And, you know, she was really killing it. And then I had an opportunity to do a songwriting day with her, which we'd talked about doing but never done. And in my mind, I was like, this is my opportunity to really like step it up, and this is make or break for me right now. And I said all this stuff to myself, I'm going to make a song on that day that's going to make her want to make more music with me ongoing. Someone like Ayla, she does songwriting sessions all the time because she's in that industry, and it's just a normal thing that you do.
Yep.
Anyway, we do this song, and at the end of it, she says, I don't think I've ever written a song with somebody that easily before. And for me, that was like, wow, that is so crazy. I can't believe that. Like,
It's that feeling, hey.
and I'm really, in my mind, I'm still quite naive and young, and hearing, I'm like, wow, this person, she's so like successful, and she said that is so cool. And I had a friend that I was sort of doing a bit of recording with. So I'm like, hey, I got a friend who's got a studio. Why don't you come over and we could record this song and let's make it happen. And from day one, I'm already thinking about travel, doing all this crazy stuff together and playing
World
festivals.
tours.
Yeah, all this sort of stuff. Anyway, so the three of us, which the guy at the studio, Judah, ends up becoming Forest Run, which is the band on the coast that we've, fast tracked however many years, 5 years or something. Now we've got to play on big festivals and travel down to Melbourne and Sydney and meet heaps of people and have incredible experiences. All those experiences that I'd laid there in my bed and daydreamed about and thought one day I'm going to do this, you know.
That's amazing. That's so good.
Like I said to
Yes.
people when I was not even in the position to say this, that one day I'm going to play at Big Pineapple Festival, which is a massive festival on the Sunshine Coast. It's huge. All the biggest artists in Australia play there. And we got to play it this year, and I was like, I said this like 5 years ago, I was going to do this. And here I am. We were the only band on the Sunshine Coast that got to play it. I felt so lucky, like so privileged, man, that like I know how many people are working so hard right now playing guitar, sitting in their room, making music. And here I am. I'm on this stage. I feel just so much gratitude. And I just reminded myself of that day when I went into that songwriting session with Ayla. I was like, we could have easily just parted ways. And, you know, that was a fun little day. It is what it is. And I never would have experienced any of this amazing stuff I've got to do. But yeah, that wasn't an option. Hey, I was set. Like, this is it. And since then, you know, I've got to meet some artists that I really look up to, and got to be in the same room recording with artists that I absolutely love, and be on stage with some of my favorite bands. So it's, yeah.
That feeling that you're talking about is exactly the feeling that I'm trying to portray in this podcast.
Yes, cool.
Because that's it. It's such an amazing feeling, and it just gives you this drive and this energy, and you're just like, oh, like I just want to get out there, and I want to be like, I want to just do the best I can, and that's what I'm trying to.
You want experiences that money can't buy.
Yeah, exactly.
And the only way to get that is through like hard work and being smart and putting yourself in situations that's going to allow these experiences to happen. And sacrifice as well, saying no to certain things that aren't going to lead you to where you want to be ultimately. Like, so many times I'll drive past Alex Hill on a Sunday afternoon, and there's so many people there with so many friends having heaps of fun, and they're connecting, and I'll look at that and go, wow, that looks so awesome. But I know that day I've been at home creating and working on something that in a year's time from now is going to give me the most ultimate joy that nothing can compare to.
Oh, this is so good.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, it's the ultimate discipline, and it's the ultimate reward.
Yeah.
The feeling that you are describing is how I feel now, sitting speaking to you. Like, I'm just getting there. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go home and I'm going to smash the video and I'm going to edit it. And like, that's what I'm talking about. So I hope that there's people at home or watching that are sitting there, they can just feel it. Like, you can feel it like build up in your body, and and you feel it in your chest, and you're like, oh, and then you're just like, whoa, and then you get out there and just start creating and being creative, or whatever it may be. It doesn't even have to be creative. It could be a business venture that you're just about to go and you want to start. Like, you want to start a clothing label like Dan.
Yep.
Like, it could be anything. Like, that is the feeling. I don't even know how to project it through the microphone.
The feeling of you're so present that there's nowhere else you'd rather be, and right now you're pinching yourself.
Yeah, nothing else matters. Like, literally nothing.
Yeah.
There's no
tomorrow
outside noise.
is not a thing. Like, for me, I've said, I think about tomorrow and everything so much, but there are these moments where, and they're rare, but when I'm on stage and everyone is vibing and it's all going so well, and I'm just like, this here is the most amazing feeling I've ever had right now. This is incredible. And I've never, like I said, don't do drugs and stuff. So like, I drink, which definitely helps to bring the vibe.
Yeah. Bringing the vibe. No, man. I like it. Oh, even now I'm like, yes, it's so good. I've done a bit of music before. Like, I was DJing in Sydney. I've been DJing for about 7 years now. And I remember my first ever gig, and I've never really spoke about this to anyone. So I remember it was a 30-minute set, and I brought all my friends, and like, even just getting my friends in was a hassle. Like, it was such a drama. I had to sneak my sister and one of my best mates through the side door up the stairs just to get them in to watch. And I remember playing, and the feeling of everyone having your undivided attention, I think that makes sense.
No,
is
definitely.
like, and you're playing music and you can see the happiness that it brings them. So then you're just like, oh, like
it's a really dangerous feeling.
It's a drug. Like, that is a drug in itself. That feeling.
Yep.
I've
had to learn to manage that a lot. Like, it took me a while, but by myself, I kind of figured it out that, you know, like, leading up to a big show, you'd think about it for weeks in advance. And for me, like, I really enjoy these little things. Some people, like, they just go off the flow. Like, yeah, it was cool. I don't get too caught up. I get really caught up in it. I'm like a fanboy of the whole.
Fanboying yourself.
No, but like, of the experience.
Yeah.
You know, like, I looked up to that sort of thing for so long. It meant so much to me. And then to be doing it, I'm like, this is incredible. So being on that incredible high, I've learned that there is a low after it. and just learning that's how it works. It's like, when you do when people do drugs, it's like so much dopamine is released and serotonin and all that. It just takes a few days for your mind to actually
Yeah, you still
to
have
build
to
it back
come
up.
down and like.
So there is a
back
come
to
down,
reality.
like, because those highs are not a normal everyday thing. When you're on stage and you're having this amazing time, it's not something you experience all the time. So yeah, for me, I learned like the week after I'd feel like a bit flat and I didn't understand why, what the heck's going on. But yeah, I think learning to approach it a little more balanced helps. And try not to get too caught up in it has been a journey as well.
Do you have any pre-show rituals?
For me, I got to make sure I'm not hungry. I can't be hungry
Crucial.
on stage. That's one of the reasons why I'll have a couple of beers on stage.
And chocolate.
And chocolate.
Which we haven't tapped into.
We might not even tap into it, but it's there in case.
It's a safety net.
In case things go sideways, we've got chocolate here.
So anyway, this chocolate's pretty good. It's having the best time.
This chocolate's just chilling, eh?
It's like, you guys gonna eat me anytime soon? Or
I'm pretty good.
No, I'm pretty good.
I don't remember what I was saying, but
We're talking.
but yeah, like, as amazing as it is, there's also like it's still life, and you have to have balance. And a lot of people, I think, especially with social media, will look at all these amazing things that people are doing,
The highlight reel.
and they'll be like, "Oh my goodness, I want to achieve that. I want to do all that. That's incredible." But it doesn't mean that they're happier than you, and that's why you see so many really successful people on drugs and just spiraling out of control.
Which is actually crazy, because if you think about the feeling that you get when you are on stage, and then to then go and then do drugs after you feel like that, must be the
It's
next
too much.
high.
It's like it's too much.
That's like
to
next
handle.
level.
Yeah.
I could only imagine what it would feel like.
I haven't played a show for maybe 2 or 3 months, and I feel like those 3 months have been way happier than I did 6 weeks in a row, which has these amazing moments, like incredible moments, but the day-to-day stuff doesn't feel as good.
Yeah, okay.
When you have a break and you have that balance, like the little things like going for a swim, going surfing, going to the gym, all those things are way more enjoyable.
It's like empty, because like when you're out on tour and stuff, you're just like, it's not really hitting.
It's like you get so used to these highs that nothing feels. It's like sports players, when they retire, they really struggle because they're so used to having those highs for so long. So yeah, that's been a big part of my learning over the last few years, is just sort of understanding that process, which no one teaches you. And understanding that when you see people doing these incredible things, realizing the reality behind that as well is like,
what are the processes that you do when you are touring and going for, so like when you come off tour, is there anything specific that you do? Like, do you sit down and do a bit of journaling and try to bring yourself back to reality in a safe way, rather than spiraling out of control?
I mean, I'm by no means a massive artist like some of these other bands that are getting around that are doing these, crazy.
Alvy's a world tour.
There's people like
but
I still play shows where like 3 people might rock up. So,
but it's still the same feeling though.
Yeah. I'm still learning that process. Hey, I think what it is now is not thinking about it in advance too much. I think it's beforehand seems to help. Just staying present and not getting too caught up in the excitement of it really helps. And even on the night, just trying to relax and stay balanced.
Yeah.
Because even though those highs are amazing, learning that it works both ways. So yeah.
Is there
exercising when I come back? Exercising is like huge for me, and just trying to get back into the little things and staying busy. Having my videography business is really good for me. It keeps me really busy and focused. So
and probably also very creative. So you're still
chipping away,
feeling that creative mind.
Just being busy and focused is, I think, really important. Good for your mind.
Now that you've done heaps of shows, do you still? So when you first did your first show, I'm sure you were like pretty excited, weren't really focusing
it was a massive
on what was
deal
going
for
on,
me.
blah, blah, blah. And now has it become more focusing on producing a good quality performance?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like probably having sex for the first time. You're like, oh, I'm out here, let's go. Woo.
It's all about you, and then it becomes all about them.
And then it starts, So now that you've done heaps of shows, are you really focused on...
I feel like I'm much better at putting on a good show for sure. My first show, not my first show, but my first proper show, the photos of me, I was just like looking down the whole time.
Yeah,
Like
your
really,
confidence has gone up.
I had nothing to, there's no vibe. I was so worried about making a mistake. And then to now, like it's just like this euphoric feeling where I'm all over the stage, dancing around, trying to, just.
How do you handle mistakes when you're on stage? Do you just brush it off, or because you are the way you are,
I feel like it's way better to have a funny approach to your set, not a serious approach.
Yeah.
Like laughing at yourself is much better for the crowd to experience than you.
Because a lot of them probably pick it up too.
Yeah, I mean, I've made a couple of mistakes where like I don't know if this makes sense, but say like one of my pieces of equipment, I've got this drumstick and it rolled off and it hit my loop pedal, which made this crazy sound go through the whole setup. It was insane.
Yeah.
It's so embarrassing. You're thinking, is this actually happening right now?
Play it cool, just
Yeah.
unassuming.
Yeah, pretty much. But I don't know. I feel like people they're quick to forget. And if if you laugh about it too, like it's so much better. Like I've been on stage and microphone stands have fallen over and you just go for it.
I'm super bad now that I know how to DJ. If I go see other DJs play, I'm very critical.
Yeah.
Which is terrible.
I find it so hard because I get so inspired too though. Like I'm at a show and I'm like,
yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag.
because like I know what it feels like to be up there. I'm so jealous.
Yeah,
It's
I'm like, that's what I'm like. I'm super jealous that
Yeah.
you're up there, but then also I'm like, I think I probably could have done that a little bit better there. And then which is kind of weird because now it's taken away. I remember when I first started going to music events, terrible word, by the way. I just didn't, I just didn't know. So I didn't know what was going on. I was just there purely for the music in the moment, having the best time. And then I learned,
nice, hey.
yeah, it was the best. And then I learned how to DJ and I was like, oh my God, like I notice everything now. I notice the sound. I'm listening to this, I'm listening to that. And to put that into like, so it's not just me, my girlfriend at the time, I taught her how to DJ and showed her everything. And prior to that, obviously she was like me, didn't have any idea, was loving the music. She then turned to me one night and was like, I'm so annoyed that you showed me all this stuff because now I can't enjoy the music.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, I've just ruined it. I've ruined everything. Ruined Christmas.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. But I guess with guitars and instruments and stuff, I don't really notice.
Yeah.
So
because it's not like your world.
No,
that
it's
you're
not my
familiar
world.
with. Yeah.
But when it comes to DJing and stuff, I'm very, very analytical.
Yeah.
Just the way I am. It's not no one's fault. I just am just the way that's the way it
Yeah.
is.
There was a time with production when I'd listen to music, I wouldn't judge it like in a negative way. I'd just be breaking down the song and listening to everything rather than listening to the emotion that they were trying to portray. So yeah, once you understand how to build a song, you start listening to a song much different to how everybody else does. They're listening to just, I guess, the feeling and the melody that the lead singer's got, but I'm breaking down and listening to the bass sound. And
Yeah, I listen to the layers. I really break down the layers.
yeah.
Of the song.
I never listen to lyrics. I don't know lyrics to almost any song, hey. It's really bad. Even songs that I've been...
Your own songs.
like Forest Run, like where we have Ayla as our lead singer. I don't know the lyrics. I might know the lyrics of a couple of like little parts and I'll probably still stuff them up. Yes, it's so bad. But I think it's like it's also a gift because like I'm so invested in the sound. I listen to the sound, so like my ear is like tuned to creating a sound rather than people are good with lyrics and that sort of thing. I'm not, but I've spent more time thinking about how to build sounds.
Have you ever had an experience where like something like the loop pedal, but in the speakers are gone down, or like the PA system's gone down, or something drastically has gone down where it's just gone dead quiet?
Okay, yes, I got it. This is a good one for you. So I'll start right from the beginning because we've got time, hey?
Oh, okay, it's time. We've got another...
It's probably a 5-minute story.
Technically, we've got another hour if we're going to do 2.
Maybe a 2.5-minute story.
Unless
So,
Dan goes, get out of here.
One of my favourite bands back in the day was a band called Boosika. As before Forest Run was even a thing, I was showing my friend who I was recording with like this band. I'm like, hey, these guys are so good. I don't know where they're from or anything, but like check out what they're doing on YouTube. They're killing it, and they're all over the radio. Absolutely love their music. And then about a year later, when Forest Run's formed, we get a message out of nowhere saying, hey, would you like to support Boosika? I'm like, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? This is like my favorite band, and we're going to go support them and meet them. Are you kidding? This is insane. And it's down in Coffs Harbour in New South Wales. So we're like, I messaged the guys like, do you want to support Busiga? They're like, are you kidding me? What the heck? So we're all on cloud nine, and we make the big journey down to Coffs Harbour and get to meet the guys, and it comes time for our set, and it was like an outdoor thing. And as soon as our set starts, just before our set starts, it starts flogging down rain for like 5 minutes, but it's all right. Like they kind of had a few marquees up or whatever they're called. And we go to play and the speakers aren't working at all. It sounds like, and we're like, are you kidding me? This is our moment. This is my favorite.
This is the big moment.
Yeah, like what the heck? And so our lead singer, Ayla, she starts singing Country Road just through the microphone, which is so good. And the crowd's like full singing it, and it's all so good.
That
and
is the best.
It is so fun. And then the sound guy's like, can you shut up? I'm trying to fix this. And we're like, oh my goodness, so sorry.
Stand there really quietly.
So yeah, that was a really bad moment, and we didn't even get to do our set. I think we did 2 songs, and it sounded terrible because everything was broken. So we went from supporting one of my favorite bands. They felt so bad. They went and brought us beers and stuff. They're like,
taking such a sad turn.
Yeah. But I mean, that was still incredible. Like they were really nice, and they like sent us videos the next day of them like listening to our music, and that was like a really big deal.
Like I said, that's actually very professional and thoughtful of them.
Yeah, and like they kept in contact with us a little bit, and there was talks of us maybe supporting them again, which I did get to support them again in another project, which was another full trip out, one of the best experiences of my life. So like,
do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, so I played in another band just for this guy, and he got to support them just before COVID happened. And so now by this time I've already met this band, and we're chatting and stuff, and it was really cool in the green room. The way the green room was directly side of stage, and it's like a sold out event. It's like a huge, like packed, and like I'm just sitting side of stage listening. Like, I love these songs. I'm getting goosebumps just watching them. And I actually got to walk out and start their set. So I'm walking out in front of this massive crowd.
You're like a little kid. You're living the best life.
Oh, dude. Like I said, like I'm like, I probably shouldn't feel the way I feel, but I take it all in. I love it.
That's
so
good.
much.
That's exactly what you should.
Yeah. And I feel like because I feel that like feeling so much, I attract more of it. Like I'm never too cool for the situation. I'm always like, I love this.
You're the most excited.
Yeah. So like I'm thinking like this is my favorite band. We're in the green room. We're hanging out, and I'm going to go out and start their set for them. So I go and start their set. Anyway, to the end of the last song, I'm sitting outside, and I looked at one of their members, and I said, "Can I come up?"
Confident. Yeah. You wouldn't mind if I take over now, would you, brother?
But like full opportunistic sort of thing. I don't hold back because I chase that feeling because I know it's gonna feel so good. And he's like all for it. He's like, get up on stage. So I jump up, and the guys I was supporting
I'm sorry. I can literally just picture you just standing there like he's like looking out at the crowd pretty much the whole set, and the one moment that he actually looks to the side, you're like catching his eye, just like, you want to get me out there?
Can I get up now? I'm like, psst.
Got the teacher like just
hey. I pretty much felt like that. Now all set, I was like 100% last song I'm jumping on stage with him, and I did, and it was like I don't think I've felt that feeling before.
How would it rank in your top 10 moments of your life?
It was the top, like whatever the top is, that was it.
The number one.
Yeah. So far, I want to say so far because I wanted.
Were you still young?
It was only a few years ago. It was only before COVID.
Oh,
just before COVID, but still, like those experiences are not normal. You know, like being on stage with a band that only 2 years beforehand, I didn't know where they were from or how close I could get to them. But I love their music. I was listening like this is crazy.
But they're still humans, and that's like.
But the fact that you can, through visualizing and working hard, now I'm on stage with these guys. How the heck does that happen?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no,
is it just a coincidence, or is it through manifesting it, or just working hard? I don't know.
I think it's definitely manifesting and working hard and believing in yourself. I know that sounds stupid, like you believe in yourself, but honestly, I find that, like for example, and I'm nobody really, but I manifested this idea of this podcast, and through this experience so far, from just believing in myself and putting out an energy that I think a lot of people find attractive,
Mm.
it has opened up so many opportunities for me so far, and they only seem to keep opening up.
Yep. I
But-
feel like you've got the right energy that people are drawn to. Like when I was filming, I didn't know who you were, but I was like drawn to you a lot with your positive, like, I don't know, I just felt like you smiled a lot. You had like really good energy.
Because we chatted for a while too.
But that was like later in the day.
Yeah, we didn't even know each other.
No, that wasn't until like after lunch or just before lunch.
Yeah.
And it was by chance that we were just sitting around the ice bath.
Which is crazy because I pitched you that idea
Then, yeah.
Then.
And here we are.
and here we are now.
But you know what's weird? I look out for little signs, but the fact that I saw you at Soul Bar that night, which was quite, like, I thought that was a pretty strange thing. Like, you can go throughout the Sunny Coast with never seeing the same person.
yeah, it's crazy.
And I saw your face and you saw mine and we were like, oi.
yeah.
Little things like that sort of make me just think a little bit more about that person and think, you know, just be open to doing, rather than saying, oh, no, I don't want to help out with
Well,
the
even
podcast
so-
or jump on or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, definitely. Like I started going to this mastermind class where they help you just be more disciplined and structured. And literally going through that and meeting more like-minded people, I'm now sitting in a podcast room, which my friend Dan has created, and he's given me this amazing opportunity to sit here and speak to you,
Yeah.
and also speak to him. And opportunities honestly just keep coming out and coming out. And even if they're small opportunities, I think if you go in it with open arms, the next opportunity is just waiting around the corner.
Dude, you're going to attain so many tools talking to so many different types of people because you're a creative person as well.
I'm so excited. I'm so honestly so excited
Yeah.
just because I love speaking to people. I love
Yeah.
finding out their story, finding out like and speaking exactly what you've just spoken about, like being on stage and feeling that high. That's the exact energy I'm trying to portray in this podcast
Yep.
through audio and visual, because I know how I feel when I speak to people, and I'm
Yep.
just so excited and I just feel
Yep.
so happy. And there's so much negativity out in the world, and if
Yep.
this is the only bit of happiness that's going to get you going, then I just want everyone to just be like, yes, this, like, you know what, this guy, like I said, I'm nobody. Like I haven't done anything crazy that anyone would know about. And to me, I'm super excited. So I'm very excited that if I can just make one person happy, that'd be the best. So for example, when I was DJing in Sydney, I DJed there for 3 years. I only ever DJed to my friends and in clubs and stuff like that. But it was only ever my friends that gave me affirmation on and like made myself feel really nice. And then it wasn't until just after I got out of the van, I was seeing a friend at a club, just standing there watching another guy, and I got chatting to this random guy, and he was like, we were just chatting away, and he's like, oh, what are you doing? I was like, oh yeah, I DJ as well. He's like, oh, what's your name? I was like, this is my name. And he was like, oh my God, did you do this set like back in, literally it was 2016 when I did this set, and I was there in 2019. I was like, oh yeah. He's like, oh my God, that was one of the best sets I've ever heard. And he goes, man, I'm so stoked. And I shit you not, like he went out to his friends, standing at like the club door, like pointing at me like, this is him. Like, rah, rah, rah.
Yeah.
And I'd never experienced that before. And I was like, I'm so, like that has made my night. Like it's actually made, like it's been one of the biggest memories of my life, because I'm like,
You did something that made an impact on
I
somebody.
made an impact on someone's life, and I didn't even,
Yeah.
because you're so unassuming when you're nobody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you
100%.
never, like I'm never going to be sitting here going, everyone that's watching this is sitting at home going, oh, like, because like you're not Joe Rogan, you're not like, you're not a massive
Dude,
celebrity.
yeah.
So like that one moment to me was the most amazing moment I've ever experienced, and I've always cherished it. And I was so elated. I was like, man, I'm so grateful that you've said that. Like you don't understand how much that has made like changed my life, because I always went throughout Sydney DJing like every other nobody DJing. Like you don't think that anyone's going, oh my God, this is really great. And the energy that he gave me when he was talking about it was insane. Like I could see like his eyes just
You
lit
brought
up,
him
and
like
he was just
heaps of
like,
joy.
I was like, holy crap, man. I'm like,
Yep.
fuck.
It feels good, huh?
I was like, fuck, man, that's great. I was
Especially when like for so much of my life I felt like nobody gave me their time.
yeah.
And then so now it still happens now. Like someone, you know, you can tell they feel like, nah, we're not gonna talk to this guy, and then the next day I'm signing someone's CDs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, so when you get those experiences, it feels so amazing that this person cares enough to talk to you and say hello, and they want your time.
Yeah, someone's giving you the time of day.
And you can tell, like, just being around that they feel really happy and stoked. And it's like, I just feel grateful to be able to
exactly. I just felt
that.
so grateful. I was like, I'm so thankful that experience happened.
Yeah.
Oh man,
It's wild, hey?
Oh, it was wild, and I'm actually glad I remembered that because
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I've never really told anyone that happened. I think I told one person that it happened.
Yeah.
And it's just stuck with me. I was like, man, that is like, you made someone happy.
Yeah.
Like, you made them. You gave like that feeling. Literally the whole podcast and what I'm.
And
trying
they're
to
like, they're literally like,
portray.
they're looking around like,
Literally.
"Oi,
Like
it's fucking."
grabbing his mates. His mates were walking past. I watched him. I shit you not.
Yeah.
Like he grabbed them and like pulled them back and was
Yeah.
like, "That's him." Like, no.
Yeah.
I was just like, I was just in shock. I was like,
Yeah.
man. Like, and that feeling that person had is the exact feeling
Yes.
is what I'm talking about. This is
Yeah.
that is it. Like I don't even know if people were
Yeah.
listening to this going, that makes sense, but I hope that it does because that's what I'm trying to portray in this.
So the last couple of years, my dad has been in jail, and when all this like good stuff that I've done, he hasn't been able to witness, and I'm trying to tell him, doing all these things that I'm really having fun with, and then he got out and we went down Mooloolaba, and someone was like, "Hey, you're blah blah, you're in Forest Run," and he got to experience like that
amazing.
joy that you're talking about. This guy was like so stoked. He's like, "Oh my goodness!" Like, I mean, I'm nobody, but still, he was
But
like,
it literally, that's the whole point.
yeah, and it's like, I feel really good that this person is happy about something that I've created, and my dad gets to experience that. He gets to see the joy that someone has.
That's
feeling.
that's such a special moment too. It's like
Yeah.
that.
And you could see
man.
my dad was really proud, even though he hasn't got to be around and see all that sort of stuff in that moment. He was kind of like, "That's fucking crazy."
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, I was like really stoked that my dad was there at that time, that someone
That's
could
so
see
special.
the happiness. Yeah.
Oh, man. Should we touch on the Alvy Willa project now that we touched on the
Yes.
Forest Run?
All right. So
Also, quick note: should we grab another beer?
yes, can we?
Oh, don't worry.
Hands on it.
Our personal assistant Daniel is
So good. Shout out to Dan in this amazing space. Hey,
honestly, without him, this would not be possible.
thanks, man.
Dan doesn't drink, so he doesn't know how to work this.
And I haven't been drinking for that long myself.
I think I'm the only drinker.
Alco.
Oh, they're cold.
They're good, these ones, eh?
And you know the best bit when you open them. Oh, wait. Yeah.
Go on.
Are you ready? On
Oh, we're going to do
three.
it together.
Yeah. Have you got a good grip?
Yeah.
One.
Oh, it always
for it.
happens. I mean,
Oh,
that doesn't usually happen.
I mean, I'm very well.
It's just like, anyway, I got to go.
Doesn't
I
understand.
wish
the three
Dan had a
count.
microphone at all times as he was roving around. He could just press a button and be like,
Well,
that's an urchin.
He doesn't know that yet, but I'm actually just going to add him in. He's just going to have like the little road mic. Every time I'm in here, he's just going to be like, he'll just put his little input in, like kind of like on Joe Rogan, like young Jamie. But I'll call him young Daniel.
Oh, he's got
there
what
you
he's
go.
got already.
No, his name's not Daniel. It's actually Dan.
Dan.
We had a whole segment at the start.
I had to edit that video, and it's like, what was it? You called him Daniel or something?
I called him Daniel.
He's
He's
like, it's Denny. And you're like,
Straight up.
all right, Dan.
Straight up was like, no. I was like, oh, anyway, I should go.
Yeah. And that's the shortest podcast ever.
All right, let's touch on the Alvy Willa project
Mm-hmm.
because I'm very excited
Okay.
because this is kind of more in my realm.
Like the style of music, do you
Yeah,
mean?
because it's electronic music.
Yeah.
So this is in my
Okay.
expertise.
Yeah, cool. I just love creating. Like, it's something that, especially at that before I was doing the videography, music creation was everything I did all day. It was an addiction. And when you're in a band with other people, you're kind of limited to, when they can do it and their input as well. And for me, it became really important to have this, like, just this one-way stream with this creative thing. You know what I mean? Like, every idea I had, I could put it in, and it's just up to me. And because I wanted to work super fast and just do heaps of it, it was really freeing. So I had to start a project. I had to start something new that I could just do whenever I wanted and have, just something different. And the name comes from my dog, Alvy. My real name's actually Jake.
Don't tell people that.
Bombshell.
This is
But the reason I bring it up is because Alvy is actually like a huge part of my life. That's I don't know if you can see, but I got a Alvy necklace.
I was looking at that earlier and I was like, what is that?
Yeah, it looks like a guitar, which is really funny. Sort of like kind of. Anyway,
I see how you tying this all in. You thought about this, haven't you?
I got the necklace just for this podcast. So Alvy is a border collie cross kelpie, and he's the most. Like I know people are biased and all that, but he was one of the smartest dogs I've ever met. And the reason being is when I got him, I was 20 years old. We lived in the back of a car together, not even a van, a car. So all day, every day, he was around people, and he just got so switched on. He would surf on a surfboard. He was amazing. So when it came time to starting a project, I was like, I'm going to name this project after my favorite living thing in the world. And he actually passed away at the beginning of this year. So it's that
took a turn.
Yeah.
I was about to say, how is Alfie? It's sad.
Yeah, it is. It rocked me a bit, but I feel really like honored that I can go and use his name and spread that name out. And now if you type in Alvy on Spotify, the first thing that comes up is Alvy Willa, which I think's
it's always there.
That's like really special that a little part, it's just his name, but that little thing like out of the whole world, if you type in just his name,
that's amazing.
You know, there's that connection there.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah. And so going under that name, it frees me as well. And I feel like I can step into this more confident being because he would do anything. He wouldn't hold back. He'd make friends with anybody.
I was about to say, do you use his personality
in
your project?
I try to. I think about it because he would never hold back and he just did what he loved. So I try and.
And that's that's so amazing. That's so cool.
And now people call me Alvy and I don't even question them. Like,
I call you Alvy.
Yeah, and I absolutely love it. And my Instagram handle is Alvy Willa. And even my friends that know my real name, a lot of them are starting to call me Alvy now too.
I fully cooked your name. I tried to actually say your real name when I was introducing you to someone, and I called you Jack or something. It was something. It was something real weird. And you're like, I was like, what? Because I think something happened, but I was like, oh yeah, this is Alvy, and you're like, no, it's this. And then I try to introduce the next person, and then I was like, fully cooked it. I was like, why can't we just stick with Alvy?
I think you called me Jack.
Yeah, I think it was Jack. We're sticking with Alvy.
Nah, keep it with Alvy. So yeah, that's where the name Alvy Willa came from. And I released my first song last year in I think June for Alvy Willa. And
let's talk about these songs because these are something else.
Yeah,
I'm very critical on people's music.
Yeah, okay.
And I think your music it's very good.
Thank you so much.
I've told you this before, but it's definitely a mixture between Rufus and Flume.
Which is funny because you bang on because a lot of the songs that are out at the moment, that's who I was listening to a lot of. But I'm definitely trying to find my own sound as well.
Is it 21 weeks?
21 days.
21 days.
Yep.
That song is really good. I think it's very well made.
Yep.
And it definitely taps into a...
That's, sorry, you go.
It's like, it taps into like this... like for me at the moment, there's a lot of stuff going on outside of this, and I find that particular song, it taps into it. This is going to sound real crazy, but it calms me down to a happy place, but then also allows me to feel emotions about the sad stuff going on in my life.
Yeah. It's a funny feeling. I know exactly the feeling you're talking about. I don't even know if there's a word in English for it.
I don't think there is.
But that's the feeling that I'm learning is where I'm tapping into more. So 21 Days is the first single I put out, and it's to this day, it's still the best. I guess it's done the best so far, which it hasn't done anything crazy, but out of all my songs, it's probably been the most listened to. And then I've made a few others where I've like collaborated with other people, and which has been really fun. But coming into this year, I was like, I've done that. I need to do something different that feels more from me. So I'm not really collaborating with other people. It's more like just from me now. So when I'm doing all the vocals and everything, and I was recently just went down with another producer on the weekend, which was the first time I've done that for my own project. So it's much more personal now, which is really exciting.
And what program do you use?
I use Pro Tools. I started off on Native Instruments Machine, which is like a sampling kind of program, which is really fun. Some of my favorite bands, like Odessa, they use it. which I find
Oh, yeah,
crazy.
Desert are cool.
Yeah, they're really cool. I just found like it had certain limitations.
I'm an Ableton nerd.
Yeah, which I kind of wish I learned Ableton instead.
I'm like, I'm like a snob.
Yeah, I wish I'd learned Ableton, but I just can't go back to square one again.
But then I've seen Fruity Loops and it looks pretty good too. It seems like the workflow in Fruity Loops is
Yeah.
pretty.
I think honestly,
It doesn't matter.
it's all about your.
It's nothing to do with the programs. It's to do. The only time it starts to become about the programs when you get really, really into it
Yeah.
and you're trying to find specific sounds and like specific compressors do.
But
which
you can always
you can always
buy
get
them, though.
plugins anyway.
A
But
lot of the free ones I kind of do
Yeah.
away with pretty quick.
plugins are pretty much a game changer.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think so. In terms of why you would choose maybe Ableton over Fruity Loops or something like that is because what you can create through the program itself without having external plugins. So you can end up making your own sound through compressors or building a block of different synthesizers or whatever. This is all just my opinion, by the way. I don't.
That's not facts. Hey, did you pass me my beer? Oh, there it is. It's full. Maybe I don't need it.
I'm feeling a little bit hard, but
I feel like jumping on this table and dancing.
Let's go.
Jake, put your
I
shit back on.
just want to say something. Beyonce had the greatest song. No, let's get back to being serious.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, we're having a serious conversation.
Serious conversation. Yeah, I think that the building blocks in Ableton allow you to create your own sound without having external plugins, because I find that just through past experiences, having external plugins, everyone else has external plugins as well. So you can find yourself getting caught up in creating similar sounds that everyone else has, where, I'm just massive plug on Ableton right now, but allowing, through Ableton itself, you can actually create very unique sounds that no one else would have because you can adjust the parameters.
Yeah. I think what's good about Ableton is how you can so easily set it up for live.
Yeah, and
Where
that
Pro
as
Tools doesn't
well.
really have that sort of thing. So for me to do things live, I've got certain limitations and have to get creative. Where I know Ableton, it's
Yeah,
set, it's ready to go. So that's a big reason why I want to do Ableton. But whether or not I do that, I've got my own little system now that's kind of okay.
Yeah, it's hard to change. I can show you stuff, but I find that Ableton's hard to learn, and then once you know it, it's very easy.
I've worked with other producers that use it, and I feel like it wouldn't take me too long. But
What instruments do you use? Do you have any external hardware?
So I play guitar. Hang on. Play harmonica.
I don't know if we can.
This is the game changer for me was when I learned how to play the slide guitar.
Oh,
So this is back in
you're one of
when I-
those guys.
When I was a teenager
You're out there busting out
on the slide. So
I
this is
could pitch you down at a park, just singing your woes.
yeah, pretty much. But people were really interested in that, and that was what sort of really got me excited that was when I was a teenager. But I thought I'd bring this to this is my roots right here. I got a little slide if anyone's just listening.
We don't need that. Is that your water?
Yes.
Oh, I'll give it back to you.
I don't even need. I got the beers. It's all right.
We're gonna get copyrighted from promoting
Mount Franklin. But yeah, I don't know, anything that kind of like a lot of string instruments. I sort of play a little bit of synth and stuff.
How long have you been doing this project for?
Which one?
Alvy.
Alvy Willa. Officially, about a year and a half. 2 years.
What
year and a half.
direction do you want to take it into?
I imagine it having a much bigger presence online than live. I feel like online the potential is limitless. Like I feel like I can have a really good presence on Spotify and stuff, especially with some of the songs I feel like I'm working on at the moment. And I don't feel ashamed to say that. You know, some people try to act real humble, like, oh yeah, it's all right, it's okay. I feel like some of the songs, you don't have control of these songs that come out. They come from somewhere else. So to say that they're good, I don't feel like I'm being on myself.
Yeah.
Like it's a good song, so I'm going to say I think it's a good song.
You should definitely, you need to be confident in your own product,
Yeah.
because you can be humble, but sometimes you still need to have a little bit of cockiness to,
Yeah.
because
But like when you sit and like if you had the power to make an amazing song, you do it every single day.
yeah,
You don't have that power.
Yeah.
Even the best people in the world don't have that power. It's it's something else. I believe it's something else that sort of happens. It's like you tap into this creative energy.
Yeah, it's very rare that people hit number ones all the time. I did watch Michael Jackson documentary.
Yeah.
And he brought out an album, and every single song in that album was number one. Which
But
I
I wonder-
find insane.
But I wonder how much of that like was momentum and, you know, him being who he is. I wonder if a random person unknown wrote one of those songs, if it would make it to that number one as well.
Well, potentially, because at the end of the day, I think he was only doing what we're doing right now. He started from nothing. and
Oh,
he
I
just-
mean, like, I'm sure, like, yes, definitely.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
Like he's only human, and he's only built the foundations, and he just wanted it better than the other guy, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's just
I think, though, once you get to a certain place, that's why there's a lot of rubbish out there, too, because once, I'm not saying Michael Jackson is, I actually, not at all. I'm talking about, you know,
that's it.
yeah,
Everyone stop watching the.
but once you get to a certain place, no matter what you put out, it's going to get played.
Yeah.
So that's why I think some crap creeps through.
Well, especially in this day and age, like with Spotify and SoundCloud and whatever, anyone can put music out, and there's so much shit out there. Like I'm not even gonna hold back. Like there's so much rubbish, and to filter through all that takes it takes a lot of time if you're a DJ, and two, that's why you need, like, because there is so much stuff out there. Even if you did make it, you should be confident whether it is a good song or not. Like you would know because there's so much to reference off.
Isn't it weird that like most artists are young? Like, does the creativity go? Like, what happens? Like, why is it like, say, Red Hot Chili Peppers were like so awesome, you know, early 2000s, but then now they don't make any music or anything that's like top.
Well, I think
You know what I mean?
I think there is a couple of different reasons. I'll give you a few. Because we'll use them for example. Or we'll use Eminem.
Okay.
Great example. The reason why Eminem, in my humble opinion, did so well at the start is because one, he had nothing.
Yeah.
Because he had nothing, he had drive. So he was always striving. He had an image in his head, and once he got there, that went away. Because he had money, he wasn't angry anymore because there's nothing to be angry about. And what I think he should have done was just stop. Don't make, because you've got the golden hits. Just leave it at that. Like don't try come back.
Yeah.
Because he would have stopped practicing. This is all I
Like
don't know.
that pain or that emotion.
Yeah, all that's faded away because he's not in that anymore, and he's not even whether or not he's practicing. What's he going to bring out? And then now that if you look at his music, it's rubbish. I don't think any of it's good, really. To be honest,
I didn't even know he was putting stuff out still.
Yeah, he still puts stuff out. Like now he's like trying to do diss tracks and stuff. I'm like, you're not.
Yeah.
It just doesn't sound authentic. It sounds like, because he has done the creative process for so long, it's there, so he can obviously whip up a song pretty quick. But it doesn't sound authentic. It
doesn't have that like soul or I don't know what
exactly.
it is. It's some sort of something that was there, isn't there?
Yeah. So that's why I think that's all for him specifically. So I don't know. I believe that maybe you need to have the maturity to know that you just need to stop.
Yeah.
Like, just be happy with what you've created. Like, ABBA just brought out a new album.
Yeah, wow.
I haven't heard it, but I'm assuming it's probably going to be not great.
The great Snoop Dogg recently did say, like, he admitted as well. I heard him admitting that it is a young man's game and it always has been.
Yeah, because you have nothing. Like
yeah, it takes something like I've even felt it in myself lately, like getting caught up with my video business. I'm not doing anywhere near as much music as I was. I'm not having that like crazy, like that's the first thing I want to do in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, like I guess as you get older, you sort of priorities do like sway a little bit.
Well, another good example, Conor McGregor.
Yes.
A lot of people hate him, whatever. I don't care what you think.
I'm actually a huge UFC fan.
I'm a massive Conor McGregor fan. I think he's one of the most amazing fighters to ever even touch the UFC in terms of what he brought. He was the most balanced this is in my humble opinion, because I think he brought Fazaz for starters. He was very well at market, like he could market himself like no one else could. In the short space that he was in the UFC, he was a really good fighter at the start. Like he was because he was so confident and he was training so hard because he was striving. All he did was train. He had so much drive and he was really, really pushing. And then as soon as he started making shitloads of money, all gone.
Got to his head, hey.
Oh, it's not that it got to his head. It's like,
Well,
how
the-
do you
I
how do
think
you
he-
how do you maintain that rage?
Yeah.
You can't, because it's like, well, what the fuck are you going to be angry about now?
Yeah.
It's like, you got all the money. So, and you look at all his last fights. He just gives up. He's like, oh, no. He's getting paid more to lose than
Than
the
he
winner's
was.
getting paid.
Yeah.
It's like, so what the like what? There's no like motivation for him to.
Even if because I do believe that he would be training as hard, like really hard, the last couple of fights, but the visualizing there isn't there
there's
anymore.
exactly. There's no visualization. So I
Also, like just from in a sporting sense, he spent a lot of time out of the game, and the game evolves, and he didn't.
exactly.
So
That's why I think he should just leave it. Just don't come back.
Yeah.
Or come back, win a fight, and then just fuck off.
Yeah.
Because
Or fight someone.
you've done too much damage
Shit.
to yourself. He should fight Nate Diaz. That's who he should fight.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now this has turned into a bloody sports chat. But
Yeah.
I think the moral of the story of this is when you're young, you have drive and you have nothing.
Mm.
And when you get older and you achieve what you've set out to achieve, it takes a very special human to maintain that. So, for example, I don't know much about Hans Zimmer, but I know Hans Zimmer is like
I
a
love his
60-year-old person,
Yep.
and that guy is a freak.
Absolutely.
Like, he still is producing and making music that is
such a
out
good
of this
point, man,
world.
because I always reference him. Like, I love the cinematic stuff that he does.
oh, it's
And
insane.
I've never thought that this guy that's at his age is making amazing music. Because it's not, like, I guess it's not mainstream, so
But it has so much depth to it. Like,
Yeah.
if you're into music, check him out if you're not into music. But even, like, because as a composer, he
it's
has so
good.
much emotion
Have
to
you
it.
seen Interstellar?
Yeah. I've listened to the soundtrack.
Have you watched it?
No.
Oh my goodness, you have to watch it, man.
But, like, the
Do you
soundtrack.
like movies?
Yeah, I love movies. But
Oh.
I haven't, honestly, I don't even have time. I don't really watch Netflix anymore. I don't watch Netflix. I watch YouTube.
Yep.
So I was talking to a person today. There's about 2 to 3 hours a week where I have downtime.
Yeah.
And the rest of it is either I'm sleeping
Mm-hmm.
or I'm working on this podcast or like doing something else that's benefiting my life.
Yep.
And that's no joke. Like that's why when you see me all the time, I'm so mentally like manic and like running around, because I'm just trying so hard to build really good foundations and healthy habits to my future self,
Mm-hmm.
so I can look back and be proud of the person that I am.
I can't wait to in a few years look back and be like, man, remember when you just started out?
I know, like
Like,
I pictured that in my head.
yeah,
I'm like
I love
when I'm interviewing, or like not interviewing, but like talking to like massive people that
Yeah.
I didn't in my wildest dreams think I'd ever be speaking to. Like when I'm traveling around the world or whatever, like I envision myself doing stuff like that. And then but what's more important to me is, yeah, that's great that I'm talking to all these people, but I'll be looking back on, I fucking started from nothing, and no one helped me like do what I'm doing. Like people have given me opportunities, but all this intrinsic motivation came from myself.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm most proud about, because like growing up, I didn't have much. Like everything I ever had, I had to get myself.
Yep.
So I'm just like, you know what, I can do that. And like a lot of other stuff's happened, and it's made me a more resilient person. And I just know that something right now in my gut, which I've never felt before, is like, this is what you're meant to be doing. Like, this is it. Like, it's taken me so long and done heaps of different creative outlets, and nothing really ever stuck because I didn't have the proper foundations and good, healthy habits. Where now I'm really working towards that and focusing on the foundations, and then everything else like this is naturally falling into place. And that's why I feel so confident within myself that this is going to be something very special. Let's talk about local people on the Sunshine Coast who we feel deserve to have their message heard through the little knowledge that we know about them.
Okay.
Or like just a bunch of plugs and shout outs.
Okay, this is I wouldn't expect that I would mention this person, but there's a band called Barefoot. They're actually really big on the coast. I could be wrong in saying this, but I feel like they're probably one of the bigger bands on the coast. They play some massive shows. They're like a big reggae band, and they're always really, really nice and friendly. And in particular, their drummer, every time I see him, he has so much like love that comes out of him. You can feel it when you're around him. And I just feel like that energy is always better than the energy that some artists bring, which is like, I'm really cool. So I feel like always bring that nice love energy and never be too cool. So barefoot, doing really cool things on the coast.
Who do I know on the coast that's doing real cool stuff? You know what I do? I do actually really, really like about the coast is that place. Like, I really enjoy beer, like your Mundy Brewery, Ten Toes, Your Mates, Torella Brewery. I know there's so many more, but it's so amazing to see all these local breweries not only thrive, but it's
Giving back as well.
but giving back.
So I mentioned to you earlier, I played a festival earlier in the year, and it was the second year of the festival, so it's only a new festival, and it was a festival that my friend Ayla started in Agnes Waters, and it turned out amazing. But anyway, long story short, Ten Toes sponsored it and looked after the artists with all the beers and stuff, which they didn't have to do. So, definitely it's really cool to see these local breweries giving back.
That's what, I want to create a community based around this podcast. So like-minded people can all get together and support each other, because I don't feel that that's a big thing on the coast at the moment. And there probably is, but I'm so unassuming that.
The music up here is it's an awesome community.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like in the DJ world. That's out of my kind of...
I haven't really tried to tap into it, to be honest.
But the music world up here is awesome. It's so supportive. Like when we do that festival in Agnes Waters, we have like 8 Sunny Coast bands all go up together and go camping and hang out and just pat each other on the back and wish each other the best, you know?
That's so good.
There's never any kind of like competitiveness. It's always just support. It's really cool.
Is there any upcoming artists
that's going to blow up? Yes.
Yeah. Who do you think would
this
be?
This band called Sailing in Space.
That's a good name.
Yeah, they're so good. So this is funny. So they messaged Forest Run maybe a year or two ago. Never heard of them. They were only doing like open mics and stuff, and it was kind of like they messaged us to do a show together, and my mindset was kind of like, I don't really know these guys at all, whatever, like maybe in a bit, I don't know, never heard of them.
Shut them down.
And
crushing dreams.
I can't remember what happened. But then I saw them live. There was like 10 people in the crowd, and their energy was incredible. It was so amazing. From that first show, I was like such a fan of this band. And over the last like year or two, I've just like watched them grow and develop and become, they're so incredibly talented. They're now managed by Dicko from Australian Idol.
Oh, that guy.
He's actually really nice. He's not anything like he was in the show. And Sailing in Space played again just like last week, and I went and watched them. And they went to another level. Like they have got the what's the word I'm looking for? Potential.
Yeah.
To be, I think they could be anything that they put their minds to. They're so good. They're like this electronic, kind of like a mix between the 1975 and like they're pretty in your face pop, but like they own it so well. Like it's
I've never heard
the
of them,
Kooks, 1975. Who else? They're epic, man.
That's so cool.
Live though, it's like when you see them live, they just take it to another level, and they wear spacesuits on stage.
What outfits do you wear in your projects?
In Forest Run, it took us ages to find, because like you always get told like your brand is really important, and the three of us are so different. I have like that more like I guess surfy style, and Judah, he's more like hip hop kind of style, and we just couldn't find anything that worked. And we settled with these cool like Adidas tracksuits, and we put our logo on them and stuff, and it seems to work. I got another side project, and we wear prison outfits on stage, which is pretty
Slipknot.
Do they do it?
Yeah.
Oh, do they?
They don't wear prison outfits, but they wear overalls with their own symbol on the back.
That's sick. Yeah, we had.
Have you ever seen Slipknot before?
Oh, maybe in the 90s, late 90s or something.
Dude, their masks have changed so much.
Yeah, right.
You should check them out.
Yeah, I know nothing about music for someone that does music, eh?
Really?
Yeah.
I know a lot about music.
Oh man. Yeah.
I'm like so absorbed.
Yeah.
I just know, like, I don't know. I just listen to music a lot, and then because I am the way I am, I do like research on who I'm listening to.
Which makes you like perfect for a show like this.
Yeah, like Not I'm saying like I'm like the fact master and all this stuff, but
No, but you're
I'm
interested.
just
You're
so
like
interested.
you're happy to like not take part in that thing, but know heaps about it.
Yeah.
Where like someone asked me what guitar I play, and it'll literally take me 10 seconds to think of what it's called again. I can't remember.
Are you one of those guitar players that can just pick up a song straight away?
No, not really. Oh, I feel like I'm not like natural.
So
I kind of am, but I'm kind of not as well.
So if you're listening to a guy just playing a song, you'd be like, yeah, I could do that, and just start ripping it out.
No. But I could probably do it, but like
It might take you.
I'll just be like, oh, how do you do that? And he'll show me and then I'll do it. Yeah, some people are freaks, Some people have got this ear that they can like hear a song and play it straight away.
I got a friend who's like that.
Yeah, it's wild,
He's a freak.
Yeah.
He's a Kiwi fella, and he just...
But it doesn't make that person good at creating though. Like I find
no,
some people are really good at like learning songs and covering songs amazing.
Shout out to Rich, because he actually is a freak.
Hey, Rich.
I haven't seen him in many years.
Yeah.
Like many. I wouldn't even know the last time I spoke to him.
Yeah.
But my God, that guy is insane.
Yeah.
He can literally just make songs up, like songs that you would think are number one songs on every chart. He just makes them up in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like, why? If you applied yourself.
Yeah.
Like he does the bar circuits and stuff, but I'm like, man, he's a freak.
It's crazy, I got a mate that he was my best mate growing up, and he was much better at guitar than me, way better. And I was always like, man, we should like go busking and stuff. We should do some cool shit. And he was never interested, never applied himself. And now he's like my age, had heaps of potential as a musician. He's never done anything with it.
I have a friend who's also like that, super freak at music.
Yeah.
Then just plays video games.
It's crazy,
like, that sucks because
But it's never the best people that make it. It's always the most driven person.
Like Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
So driven.
Yeah.
He's even quoted. He's like, this isn't talent, this is hard work.
Yeah.
And that's so true.
I love it.
I love him.
Yeah. He was growing up, when he lost to Nate Diaz, I was actually sad.
I was sad too. I was like, no. And then he'd come back and I was like, yeah.
I love that he was so into the visualizing, and he'd call it. He'd say, it's going to happen now.
It was such a good...
And when he would do it, I'd be like, oh my goodness.
Such a good plug.
Yeah.
That was so
Wait,
smart.
actually, before we wrap up, because I know you're probably going to wrap it up.
No.
I want to share something. So, just quick, you know how I said I really enjoy the visualizing and stuff? The manifestation and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm just thinking in my head.
What do you think? Your face is like looking like, oi, remember that time you said you shaved a cat? Did you actually shave a cat?
No. Dan, when we were in the last podcast, it was like getting to a time where I was like, oh, I should probably wrap this up.
Oh, and then you went deep?
And I was kind of like, I kind of like said something, and then he just opened up, and I was like, oh man. And then we literally just kept going. I was like, this is so amazing. So I'm sitting here like in anticipation. I'm like,
nah, this is, it's probably just like, it sounds like real cheesy and cliche, but I just want to.
This is your final plug.
Liz just talking about like,
final speech.
The importance of, not the importance, but the possibilities of things that you put your mind to.
Yeah,
and that there's more to than what we see.
I want this to rain home.
So for a few years, you hear about positive energy, and you can be a bit like, blah blah blah, whatever. But it seemed like there was like it could be real, and even Conor McGregor calling things and visualizing and becoming world champion. All those little things come into factor, and I thought I need to test this if it's real or not. So I did that test where you can do it with anything really, but I boiled rice and I put it in one airtight jar and put it in another airtight jar, and I wrote love on one jar and hate on another. And every day I spoke and felt love to this one jar of rice, cooked rice, and hate to the other. And within about 2 weeks, it was already apparent what was happening, and the hate jar was already developing mold and turning black, and the white jar was completely white and beautiful. And I'm just going to pull up some photos for you. Hang on a second. I've got to figure out how to use Facebook.
Wait, so I've heard of this experiment.
So had
done
I.
on plants.
So had I. So I thought
I got two plants next to each other, and they spoke really kindly of one, and then said negative things to the other one.
And the idea is like what you say to yourself every day is like talking to this rice. If this happens to the rice, what does it do to you or to other people, to kids, like as they're growing up? Okay, so this is only a couple of weeks into it. There's the love rice there. You can see a photo, and it looks white. Hey.
Yeah, I wish I had this on.
I know.
I want to see it.
And there's the hate rice.
What?
And now that's only a couple of weeks. I don't have photos on here, but after about 6 months, the hate one was completely black and moldy and disgusting. And the love rice was just, it didn't change. Is it a coincidence? I don't know, maybe. But after hearing other people doing it and then me doing it as well, it really like rode home like the power of the things that you say and the things that you feel. So yeah, don't be afraid to like tell yourself that you can do something that's great, and that energy makes a difference.
Man, that's a beautiful message. And let's end it on that. This has been another episode of Creative Appetite with my good friend Alvy Willa. Thank you all for listening and watching. Stay tuned, and we'll be back again.